Just finished with Year 11 construction, trying to get through some of the theory work. If you can hear the noise, they've cut the new doorway in the wall from my room next door. And we're just talking about like everything in here's got to go. All of the tools will go in there, which is a good thing because it means I don't have to try and retool that room, because I was going to have to buy all sorts of tools for the timber area. So I've got all of those there. So that room will be set. Every metalwork tool from there I've taken to the trade school. The cabinets I'll have to take out of here that I want to try and keep. The ones that I keep timber in, I'll basically lose a little storage areas, which is annoying. The cabinet with my boots I'll be taking because that's my setup for the saw, which I don't have a saw for next door. So again, it's coming from a bonus there because I'm not having to buy a saw. Not sure what's going to happen with the drill press. I'm going to miss having the big roller door access, but let's turn off this light. Once they finish that doorway, we've got to redo the fence so we can then start moving everything from here into the room next door and do it the short way rather than going all the way that way. So when you come out here, you see the tarp because it's raining, so they're working under the tarp. But so they're just building a man door, basically. I'm going to get the class. We're going to have to take all these panels off, cut the posts, and move them to the other side of the container and the other side of the doorway that's there. So this area here will become bigger. We'll have another bay the other side of the container. So I might actually end up putting up the other one of these carports in that space directly out from the door. Hey, I just thought of that. Do it directly out from the doorway so it's dry when you first walk out. Because like weather like this, you can't do anything, which is why we're trying to get that finished. But Year 12 have to finish that one. I'll quickly show you what's happening in the metal room too. So it's still a bit of mess to organise in here. There's some stuff here I think I can chuck. More timber to move somewhere. I've still got timber here that we need to sort. Oh, that's got to go onto the bottom of the rack. I'll get the kids to do that. Trying to get the kids to keep their tools in their toolboxes because all the tools were numbered has become really difficult. If the kid can't find their own tool, they just pick up another one and put it into their box. So I've removed all of the tools and just sorted them. And I'm going to do tool walls in here. I don't know what's in that cabinet. That might be the thing to use for the tool wall, because I just need to have a set of tri-squares, like engineer squares, the dividers, scribers, snips, rulers, hammers, center punches, mallets, and the hacksaws. If I just have them set up, and I really don't need 20, every other workshop has 10 of everything. So if I just set up 10 of everything, either in that or, let's see, where's another space? Where that notice board is, I could put them there, or I could put, I can't really keep walking behind here, so that's where those will have to stay. I could use that wall there for tools. That's probably the best spot. So the kids can go back and forth to get their tools. And at the end of the day, everything needs to be on the rack, and it's easier to check than checking every toolbox has everything in it. And for the moment, the kids' names are on their toolboxes, so we can just use those for their job parts, because kids are losing their job parts and we don't know where they're going. We've looked under the tables, we can't find them. I've checked the scrap bins, we can't find them. And it's disheartening for the student. I really want to get this place organised and working better, because I do want to make the trade school available for the community. Try and get night courses running with the help of TAFE. It's one of my project that I'm trying to get going. This place is completely underutilised. We were incredibly lucky to get it back in 2009. That's how long we've had it. It was strong at the very start. I had a fantastic teacher back there who was basically focused down here. We also had his dad in here a couple of days a week as an assistant, so the place was just kept on top of. When he left and the courses started to die, it just became unused. Junior kids don't usually want to do metal, so we don't come over here a lot. But now that we've got like the stage 5 courses running, I'm offering stage 6 for next year, metal engineering or manufacturing engineering. I just realised somewhere I didn't check for this kid's job. Nope. Don't know where it was, where it's gone. But like, I want to use this stuff more. I want to work down here. I want the kids to enjoy coming here. I want it to be used. And so, yeah, offering the senior metals course next year. Subject selection is tomorrow. We have the fair tomorrow. That goes through the day for the kids, then in the afternoon for the parents. Then they have interviews Friday, and then next week the catch-up interviews to get the kids to pick or have discussions about what they want to do. Then they'll do their selections. So I'm getting the website ready and getting the timetable ready for next year. It's a really busy time. It's a really busy time. And it doesn't feel like there's enough time to do anything. I'm going to go back and try and make sure that the timetable is set up for at least subject selections for tomorrow, and then I can worry about this when I have time. Short walk this afternoon by the look of it. They're guiding every turn. I'm concerned it's going to rain, because it has been, but if we got caught in it. Not sure why, but I feel wiped from today. That bit of time where I had to spend on the computer just turned my brain off, strained my eyes. Beautiful sunny Saturday, bit after mid-morning. My plan is to work on the floor. I've got to level out that floor framing in the study. But when the weather was this nice this morning, I thought I want to take these guys out for a walk before the sun disappears. Like I didn't want to start working on the room and then the day disappear on me, because that often happens. And I don't know what the weather's meant to be like tomorrow. So I'll get a walk in today, and then I can get on with the room. I'm hoping to get the joists levelled out so that I can go down and get the subfloor from Bunnings. Get that down at least. Over checking out the sights at the lookout. She's adventurous. That man, stop. So preparing to trim these down. Now the biggest trims is this one and this one here, because they've got to go down 20 and 16 respectively at this end, or 20 right here. Tapers out to 8 just there. So it's not taking a lot out of the thickness. I think here I'm going to sister something towards it, like onto the other side or something. That one I've got all marked out on the opposite side just because of this big lump, which I have figured out, yeah, that was for the attachment of the ceiling outside when this used to be the asbestos sheeting. You can see that line there goes from 8mm, 2mm there, and it's 0 just there. This one here is 12, I've got it marked on the opposite side, 10, 6. So, and using the level to line them up, I could actually use the bubble as well just to confirm. Down that end, it's got to be packed up a bit. Now I've taken some of my stiffening pieces out. Thankfully, if I'd used screws it would have been a lot easier, but I'd only used a couple of nails because they were just to stiffen, not structure, like full-on structure. I'll still have to take this one out once I move this. Get this all ready, get the vacuum ready, trim this off. I'll have to just set the depth of the saw to 20 and go along until I see myself getting close to the line, and adjust it and go along, like just doing cross cuts, and then chisel them out. So far, so good. I'll get the multi-tool to chop out these little bits at the edge. I'm going to get one of my planes just to do the thinner sections. Hang on, and sharpen up this beater chisel so I can finish that. This one, I'm going to have to move all this timber to do it. But I've got to move all this timber anyway to get it stripped down. Not sure how I'm going to get that, whether I'm going to carry that all down or what. It's semi-done. All of the bits that needed to be lowered have been lowered. That very corner is 0 with the spot near the door, which was my datum. But about there it becomes 8. It needs packing up by 8, packing up by 8, 10, 10. And this first beam needs to be packed up by 3 just there, 4 there, 2 there, 2 there. I'll run long strips along this back piece and sort of feather them, I think. And I've also got building packers. Piece of 3mm along here. It's 4 in the very corner. Pack it up a bit. That board along the back, which is under the wall, plasterboard and out into the doorway. Same thickness as the subfloor I'm going to get. I will lift that and pack under it as well so that it's at the same level. I can't remember what the case is along this wall. But in the morning I'm going to have to move all this across so that I can get it out the door and downstairs and out the back, and that's the job for tomorrow. Sunny Sunday. I got all of the floorboards out of the room and just laid them out along the balcony. I just figured it'd be safer to do that, put down a subfloor and then carry them through that room with a subfloor under me than trying to balance them on the way through. I packed out the few spots that I needed to, which was that far end of the room. Had to come up 10mm in one corner, nothing in the other corner. The next one across only had to come up 3mm and 4 at the wall. The next one only really needed 2mm towards the wall. So I used a mixture of packing timber and the hard plastic packers for construction. So nailed them along where it was just a tiny amount, like 1 to 2mm. The opposite wall, once I'd moved the timber out of the way, the floorboards, it had to come down 8 to 10mm just near the doorway, the balcony door. And because that one also went under the wall, I was only really taking out a little bit of it, just where the subfloor will sit at the edge of the room. So I didn't want to sort of kicking up right at the edge. And so the whole room is, I will say, relatively flat now. You can go across it with the level in 2 directions. You can basically like check the joists for level, and you can also check across joists for level, and they're pretty good. It might be like 1mm here or there where I might have not gone down far enough or went down just a little bit too far with the chisel. But it's not a big spot that it's not noticeable. I'm now driving down to Bunnings to buy the subfloor, which comes in 3600 length, 10 feet. 12 feet. And they're only, I think the ones in Bunnings at Valley Heights are only 800 wide, so a bit under 3 feet. To span the whole room, I'll need 3 and a bit sheets, so I'm buying 4 sheets because I don't really want to go farting around with putting little bits in a section. Like, I know that I'll have 900 cut out from the other boards. Trying to get those, yeah, here's the thing. 3 boards of 3600, chopping out 2700, leaves me 900 from each board. Technically those 3 900s would be enough to cut out the strips from, but if they don't align with the joists, and the joists are meant to be 450 centers, so technically should, I think I'd just prefer to put 1 long strip in that section, because it's about a bit over 300, so a foot by the full length of the room. I think I'd prefer to just try and fit 1 strip in there than put little ones and trying to screw them into, yeah, not worth trying to save the money. Better just have the offcuts and 900mm by 800 pieces of subfloor. I'm sure I could find a use for something, somehow, somewhere, you know. Got the subfloor with the help of one of the guys at the store. I'm now not sure how I'm going to get it off the truck. You might be able to see the pallet standing up at the back of the tray. That's holding the back of the subfloor boards, because I don't have a rear bar. I've just got the roof racks, the sport bar, which isn't as high as the roof racks, and then nothing. So the guy at Bunnings went and grabbed a pallet and we stood it up, strapped it against the tailgate, and everything's sitting up on top of that. I probably look a little redneck as I'm driving. There's no way that I would have wanted that stuff just sort of hanging over. It would have been like half the board hanging out the back, because that's what's hanging from the back roof bar to the pallet. It's half the board length. I think they're going to be hard to get off the back because they're decently heavy. I just hope they're not super heavy to get them up into the house, because I want to cut them the full length of the room. So that's 2700. They're only 800 wide. 24 by 12 sheet of particle board is heavy. So this isn't going to be much lighter, even at only 27 by 8. Because I dare say this stuff's a bit denser and stronger than regular particle board, because it's floor. It's flooring grade. We'll see. Really want to make sure. I'll want it. What time is it? It's 10 to 2. I really want to try and get this floor down today, so I don't have to worry about trying to balance in there or making sure the door is shut and the dogs don't go in there, or all of that sort of thing. So I've just got my subfloor here. It's sitting on scaffolding behind my truck because of how heavy it is, and I want to cut it down to size before taking it in. Now I do have a saw guide for my corded saw, but I'm going to quickly make one for my cordless saw because that'll be easier to use out there. So I've got a thick piece which will be the bit that the saw runs in against, a thin piece of just MDF which is going to be the base, and I'm going to just staple this with the air stapler from the underside, so going into here through this, using staples rather than nails, just so it doesn't punch through the 3mm MDF, because that can happen easily with the little pin nails. And then I'll run the saw along. I'll try and show it, but can't find my tripod. As luck would have it, my phone was full and shut off before doing any of the cutting. So staples all the way along it to keep it in place. And I've got a cut on both sides for the wide and the narrow sole of the saw. So I'm going to take these out front and set up to cut. So this is my old one for the corded saw. This one, I've got it lined up on a mark there and a mark here. I've then set the saw onto the top and set the blade so that it's just poking through. It's just going to poke through the bottom of the sheet, and I've got these spaces that are just holding it up. If it scratches the sheet underneath, that's no big deal, but I don't want it putting a deep groove, and I want space for the saw blade to sort of clear. This piece here is just supporting the cut. This piece here is supporting the cut. This bit up here, just an extra bit of support, clamped here, ready to go. Where I was trying to reach too much, I was actually pulling the saw across. It wasn't very far from the end. But thankfully it also wasn't in the piece I needed. I did, however, kiss the blade at that point in time. Very lucky. Almost finished the subfloor. I didn't get the last bit cut because I was trying to get these in place to be able to measure what I needed to have. And turns out the shortest is 248, the largest is 251, but most of them are 249. So I'll probably just do 248. That 1mm difference isn't going to be big. It's probably actually going to be hard to punch it in anyway. This one's in. This subfloor is actually slightly thinner, so the floorboards were probably 21mm. But I'll probably give that board a bit of a sand because it's actually, it's not much at all. But it also means that that'll help alleviate that whole thing of the, once the other floor, the floating floor goes on here, that it'll be too high, because a 1/4 inch floating floor here will be the same height as the carpet in the hallway. I haven't screwed this down completely just because it's later. And that's another reason why I didn't get this done, because having it all out in the front yard, hanging off the truck to cut it, was not easy. And then trying to get these sheets up here was diabolical. Just trying to get it into the house and around the bottom of the stairs. Coming up the stairs, when I got it up the top of the stairs, I had to push it all the way into the bathroom, and when it touched the bath, it gave me this much space to swing it past the banister at the top of the stairs, and then I'd kick it further into the bathroom to get a good angle to come sliding straight into here, and then trying to get it to fit down. Because of the way I brought it in, I had to lay this end down first, and this end has all the extra space for getting the flooring in. This side I had to sort of just push past the plasterboard at the last bit. But so far I've put screws in at the edges of the boards in the centre where they meet. There's only about 18 screws in here at the moment. When I get home tomorrow, I could probably finish putting screws in here, because you want to have at least 4 across the sheet at each joist, just to really help stiffen everything up, because this helps create a stiffer structure for the floor joists as well, whereas the old floorboards, everything just flexes. Honestly, like when our little Chihuahua used to walk into the study, you could feel it downstairs. Little Sam. I was running out of light outside, so I didn't really get this in. Ran out, putting everything away. I had to put the board that I cut down into the laundry and the offcuts, and put my scaffolding away.